Okay, guys, today's 10-minute math will be about improper fractions and mixed numbers, a review of those terms and how to convert from one to the other. 14/5, that's an improper fraction. Doesn't quite look proper because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. 14/5 is an improper fraction. 2 4/5, that's a mixed number. It's mixed because it's got a whole number and a regular common fraction. 4/5 is more of a common fraction that you see in household measurements. 4/5, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. It's a mixed number because it's got a whole number and a regular fraction. We like to use mixed numbers in math. They're usually in simplest form. When you have an improper fraction, we typically like to convert it to a mixed number. When I said 14/5, I wanted to convert it to a mixed number. And what I did was I thought to myself, 5/5, that's one whole. 10/5, that's two wholes. 14/5, well 10/5 is two wholes. 14 is four more. So we have two wholes and 4/5. And what I do is I say numerator divided by denominator. Numerator divided by denominator. How many 5s go into 14? 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 is left over. So we have two wholes with 4 left over out of 5. 2 4/5. That's the mixed number we were looking for. Let's do another improper fraction and we'll turn it into a mixed number, okay? Let's do 18/4. Well, we know 4/4 is one whole. Another 4/4, that's 8/4, that's two wholes. Another 4/4, 4, 8, 12, 16. I'm sorry, 12/4 is three wholes. Another 4/4, 4, 8, 12, 16/4 is 4/4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18. We have 4 wholes and 2/4 left over. So 18/4 is 4 2/4. And we can do this also by dividing the numerator by the denominator. 4 goes into 18. 18 divided by 4. 4 goes into 18 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16 with 2 left over. That's the remainder. Before we would say remainder, but we don't want to say remainder much anymore. We want to say 4 wholes with 2 left over out of 4. 4 2/4, which is the same as 4 1/2. 18/4 is 4 1/2. So to take an improper fraction, we divide the numerator by the denominator, or we could draw a picture and determine the answer. Let's try one more, and I'll have you try this one for me. Let's try 20/6. Draw a picture, figure out how many sixths. 6/6 is one whole, 12/6 is two wholes. Try to figure out what the mixed number would be. Or you could divide numerator divided by denominator. So you tell me, what is 26th as a mixed number? So we know 20 divided by 6, 6 goes into 20 3 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 2 is left over. That is what we would call the remainder, but instead we'll say 3 wholes with 2 left over out of 6. 3 2/6, which is the same as 3 1/3. Because if you took 6/6, 12/6, 18/6, 19/6, 26. So we have 3 wholes with 2/6 left over, 3 2/6. But sometimes we want to go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. We do this sometimes when we multiply fractions. That's the cheat code that I'll be teaching you about later, kind of the easier way to do it other than conceptually. Here we want to find out how many halves are there in 4 1/2. And you could draw, we know that 2 halves is 1 whole. Another 2 halves, that's 2 wholes. And another 2 halves, that's 3 wholes. Another 2 halves, that's 4 wholes. So 4 wholes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 halves. And then another half for 4 1/2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 halves. 4 1/2 is the same as 9 halves. You could do that by drawing pictures. Or you could say denominator times whole number. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus what's left over, 1, gives you 9. And the denominator stays the same. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and the denominator will stay the same. So 4 1/2 is the same as 9 halves. 4 1/2 is the mixed number. That's what we'll use in simplest form usually. 9 halves, that's the improper fraction. We don't usually want to use 9 halves. It's improper, but sometimes when we multiply fractions, it's helpful to turn it into an improper fraction. Let's look at 3 4/5. That's the mixed number. We can say 5/5 is 1 whole, 10/5 is 2 wholes, 15/5, that's 3 wholes. 15/5 is 3 wholes plus 4 more fifths. 15/5 plus 4 more fifths is going to be 19/5. You could draw that picture and picture it mentally. You could also say denominator times the whole number. 5 times 3 is 15, plus what's left over, which is 4. 15 plus 4 is 19, and the denominator stays the same, 19/5. You to try this. 4 2/3, that's the mixed number. Turn it into an improper fraction and tell me how you did it. You could have drawn it as a picture. 3/3 is 1 whole. 6/3 is 2 wholes. 9/3 is 3 wholes. 12/3, that's 4 wholes. So 4 wholes is 12/3. And 2 more thirds would be 12, 13, 14/3. So 4 2/3 is the same as 14/3 if you drew it as a picture. Or if you multiply denominator times the whole number, 3 times 4 is 12, plus what's left over is 2, plus 2 gives you 14, and the denominator stays the same. 14/3 by multiplying denominator times whole number, which is really 3/3, 6/3, 9/3, 12/3. 4 wholes is 12/3 plus 2 leftover thirds gives you 14/3. Okay, so we're going to work on this here and there because you might use this when you multiply mixed numbers later on. And hopefully this 10-minute math will be helpful for you today as you continue to work with multiplying and later dividing mixed numbers and fractions.